One of the advantages of coming to a live event is that you get to hear the gossip, hear the rumors, find out what's happening behind the scenes. That's why I'm speaking to Daryl Reva. He is the Vice President of Product Marketing at Mitel. And, well, Daryl, I think what our audience is really wanting to know is, how did the ShoreTel acquisition go?
The ShoreTel acquisition has gone extremely well. We're about 150 days into it now, and Mitel has a history of acquisitions, 8 over the last several years. I've been through some of them. I've seen some of them from the sidelines. This is absolutely the most successful integration that I've seen from any of the previous acquisitions. We have integrated the overall portfolio. We had a press release on that and the importance that Connect, not only in the cloud but also on-site, will play in the portfolio. We've also had complete integration across our R&D investments as well as the sales organization. So we have a single fluid motion to the market in 150 days of purchasing a very large player in the market.
That might actually be a record. Now, let me dig a little deeper into that, because these acquisitions always happen with a purpose. There's always a tool or a suite or some sort of competency that the larger company wants to bring into the fold. What was it about ShoreTel that made it a target?
You know, one of the things that I've always seen coming from ShoreTel is great technology, great partners, and even better people. So as we peel this back a little bit, not only has the technology been fantastic, it's allowed us to kind of jumpstart into the multi-tenant retail UCaaS market for us, and that's something that we will standardize on moving forward globally. So it's played a very, very strategic role in our portfolio moving forward. Mitel's always been in the cloud. We like to consider ourselves almost the godfather of the cloud, going back to 2007.
Yes.
But it was a lot of shifts from our on-site portfolio. And this technology born in the cloud allows us really to continue the growth, allows us to have a very simple, structured both UCaaS and CCaaS opportunity into the market. In addition to that, it's absolutely been the people. I'm amazed by the passion and really, really welcome the opportunity to work with such amazing people.
Let's talk a little bit about that born in the cloud mantra, because it's become clear that there are two types of vendors at Enterprise Connect. There are those who were maybe big players before, and they're traditional players, and then they've moved some of their offerings into the cloud. And then there are the Pureplay. Mm-hmm. They're the UCaaS vendors from the ground up, that is built into their DNA to be in the cloud. How does Mitel navigate these two worlds?
It's a great question. I love the term pure play, and it's being thrown around a lot. Mitel this year will turn 45 years old. And that is a badge of honor for us, because you're not going to find, or you'll find very little, 45-year-old companies that have been able to make the right innovations and investments to navigate the several changes that have taken place in this market, even over the past decade, let alone 45 years. So our ability to really understand where acquisitions make sense, where additional investments in R&D make sense, have landed us in a position where we've had a following of partners for 45 years that sell our technology. And that type of relationship, you're not going to just buy from the pure cloud players. But when it comes to technology, absolutely we can go toe-to-toe with what the pure players can bring to market, not only on the low end, but also with Mitel's sweet spot in the 250 to 2500. From a reliability perspective, those established relationships take longer than acquiring some hedge fund money and investment money and creating an organization that would be considered more pure play.
Right. Getting the VC money and going on a shopping spree, basically. Now, I'm glad you brought up this idea of looking towards the future, and the fact that Mitel has such a long lineage, because as you mentioned, you don't get to be a player in this market for 45 years unless you grow, unless you change. And Mitel has been always continuously reinventing itself. That's what the acquisitions are about. But what does that mean about the future? What can we expect from Mitel going forward? How are you going to leverage the ShoreTel acquisition and the future acquisitions that I'm sure Mitel already has in planning?
Yeah, I think the phase one of the
Good way to put it.
three-phase strategy
Yes.
really is just about buying land. And we are at the point where we have about a 70 million install base. I'm not sure, actually I know a pure player is not going to stand up and say I have a 70 million
No.
installed base from which to help migrate from. So phase one is really about buying land. We've checked that box. We're ready to move on. That's not to say that there's nothing up the sleeve, but from a large installed base, we've checked that box. Now it's time to really to move on to phase two. Phase two is moving them to the cloud. What's unique about us is we're not going to pigeonhole you into a complete rip and replace. We have multiple different hybrid strategies that would allow you to continue your existing investments, whether that's the call control or whether that's the desk phones that we've been talking about are going to go away for several years, which are still there. So we have pride ourselves in providing a path to get to the cloud, whether that is going straight to UCaaS or whether that's a hybrid. It's going to be right time for the customer's budget. It's going to be the right time for their business, and that's really where the phase two of that strategy comes to play. Phase three is creating net new applications.
There you go.
And we've got some great new technology coming out, a technology that we call CloudLink. And so when I talk to analysts, when I talk to partners, when I talk to vendors, it's really along the lines of, man, you've got 6, 7, 8, now 9 different products or call controls in the portfolio. How in the world can you do that? And so if you take a look at what the R&D structure was just a few years back, if you wanted to go put a feature on A as well as product B, those are 2 different projects, 2 different R&D resources and energy. And so what CloudLink allows us to do is disaggregate all of the applications from the call control and build it once, and it goes across each of our call controls. And so what we are doing to drive innovation is really everything's from the cloud. Whether you are a cloud customer with us today or you're an on-site customer, we're building applications that will solve tomorrow's business problems and go across all of our cloud and on-site call controls.
We've been speaking with Daryl Reva. He is the Vice President of Product Marketing at Mitel. Daryl, thank you very much for spending time with us. Thank you for letting us in a little backstage at Mitel. It's always fascinating to find out what the strategy is like, and I love the fact that stage 1 was getting that real estate, because so many players start with stage 3. If you could please tell our audience where they can find you, where they can find Mitel, where they can find more information about making that change with a partner that's been around for 45 years, I'd much appreciate that.
Yeah, it's very simple. Mitel.com. See you there.
I love simple. Again, thank you for your time, and thank you for watching or listening. I'm Father Robert Ballecer, the Digital Jesuit, and stay tapped because there's more from Enterprise Connect 2018.